how many times are we going to get burnt by this? So I have questions. Hey, everybody, here we go. Oh, my goodness, it's a Tara show. I made a rhyme off the top of my head. That's why you watch the Tara show. Yeah, buddy. Oh, man, it is happening. It's happening now. I'm excited. I want to make sure I have all my sounds turned off so they don't get hurt.
I can hear you.
Why am I hearing it when? But
because you have something on.
I turned. No. I just turned my sound down. We are good. Hi. Big day. It is a big banner day here on the Tara Show. Hi, Jim. Thanks for managing the chattery that's going to be happening. I did invite all the MAGA trolls from Twitter to come join us. I doubt that they will. It's been another big week with lots of things going on. We have housekeeping to take care of. First of all, thank you so much to everybody who reached out with concerns over my personal safety regarding the threatening text I received. That's kind of dialed down a little bit because other things have, distracted them. More bright and shiny things have happened recently.
I don't really
but right
care about, that's the bottom line.
No,
we knew it was going to,
of course, right?
fade away. You saw Jimmy Kimmel.
You can't maintain that anyway.
Yeah, well, he had more emotion concerning Jimmy Kimmel. Charlie Kirk's murder than Traitor Trump could muster. He couldn't even finish a sentence.
Well,
how you dealing with Charlie Kirk's murder? Oh, it's very sad. I'm doing a ballroom though. Haven't you seen? I mean, come on.
The guy who can't pronounce acetaminophen wants to control what other people say. That's ridiculous. So, but speaking of acetaminophen, this Michigas with the Tylenol. First of all, it's not Tylenol should just sue him because acetaminophen was around long before Tylenol. Also, autism was diagnosed long before Tylenol became a brand. But RFK Jr. has been around longer than both. So, but anyway, I wrote a tweet, like a silly tweet, like a lot of people did, because this is stupid. And we all know that it's stupid. And the thing that all pregnant women should do is consult with their doctor. And all things are bad in excess. If you took a whole bottle of acetaminophen, that would be bad. It's especially bad for your liver in large doses, whatever. So the memes began because that's what we do in the internet times. And people started making silly memes about how, like it's the Pee Wee Herman meme where the secret word of the day is EpsteinSecrets. And okay, so there's mine. And all I wrote was the official's response from Tylenol is just brutal smirk emoji. Okay? That's not an official response from Tylenol.
Yeah, what's the note they gave you?
The note is that this is not the official response from Tylenol. You don't.
Yeah,
this is how stupid.
That's not what you were saying. I mean, you didn't say
this is the stupidness, right? Okay, so here you go. So if you are a smart and thinking person, you know that's not
fake.
real.
It's a fake.
You and your AI Trumps with a 12-pack and the eagle on his shoulder are crying over the Tylenol meme. Of course it's fucking fake, you idiots. The smirk emoji gives it away. It's me using the word official that triggered them beyond. And I should thank them because that is my most successful tweet of all time since 2009 when I joined. Who cares? Consult with your doctor, anybody, and they had to make an official fucking statement about this. It's so stupid. So, and then that's why Jimmy Kimmel was like, I don't know who's had a harder week, me or the CEO of Tylenol. So I tweet that thing that triggers them, and I forgot about it, right? Because it's dumb and stupid, and also my account is so suppressed on Twitter that I'm surprised anybody sees anything that I do. But this goes kaboom. This explodes. This is insanity. This is so big. More than 10 million views. The Daily Cause, which is a decent website that gets a lot of circulation and a lot of subscribers. And I set a Google alert for myself for lots of reasons, but I got a Google alert. And on the Google alert, and I think I shared a screenshot in one of my subsequent tweets, Daily Cause is like this story, and then this just says, Creating world interest. My tweet. World
Yeah,
interest. Now, I
you're
don't know
somebody.
if it's
Look at me
world
now,
interest.
Ma. Look at me now.
Oh, world interest in me or world interest in just this stupid Michigas around Tylenol. I don't know. But what I do know is that over 10 million views. What's that going to translate into on Twitter for me? Well, $1.25. But what it should translate into in the days pre-Trump, and anybody who might be in the chat or watching this subsequently, if you were on Twitter pre-Trump descending the escalator day in 2015, as I've been on Twitter since 2009. If there was ever a tweet that did what this tweet is doing, if there was ever a tweet that did 10 million engagements over and all of the other engagements that are around this, the quotes, the shares, the likes, whatever, the responses, that person would have gotten an instant like Comedy Central stand-up special or a 3-picture deal or an immediate, book deal for their memoir and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just out here waving my arms frantically because anybody who watches this show regularly knows how much I love my book, The Sound of Settling, a rock and roll love story, how much it means to me, how hard I have been trying to get a proper publishing deal for it because I'm self-published. It's a very harsh realm. I'm an obviously untapped writing goldmine. My mind is worth millions, and this proves it. If I had $1 for every single one of the responses or the engagement on this, I love you, my friend, but I wouldn't need this show anymore because I'd be off making the streaming series that everybody wants to see from The Sound of Settling. I have a blurb from Cameron Crowe. Ellen Barkin wants to play the rock star's mom. And the people who have shared this tweet include a lifelong idol of mine, John Cleese from Monty Python, who retweeted it. And I'm like, what? I made John Cleese laugh? Me? That's big. That's big for me, okay? And so Stephen King and Mark Hamill follow me back. I could drop a bazillion famous names of ways I'm connected and here and there. It is just, for whatever reason, the piece of the puzzle that has eluded me until now is somebody who is in a position of power at an agency has yet to discover this untapped gold mine that I am. So I would posit you could make money from me, corporations. You can make money from me, publishers and, agents and streaming platforms. Let's make it happen. Everybody loves a rags to riches story. Everybody loves an overnight success story. Everybody loves that. We haven't had a story like that in a really long time because we've had so many negative stories dominating our country for the last, 9 months. I say it's time for something just really good to happen. I am at heart a good person. You're a good
really
person.
Good to happen to you.
Well,
Me too,
no, because
I don't know.
Because
I'm just
when one of us succeeds, I believe it raises up all of us. And I truly believe that because let's just say that happens, right? And it should happen because I have proven throughout my life, from my radio career until now, that my mind is worth millions. I make money for my employers. It's just true. That doesn't always trickle down to my bank account, but there's a concert series that happens in Portland annually, thanks to me. Do I get any money from it? No. So while I'm sitting here without nickels to rub together, I get into a position of power. I get to hire anybody I want. All of my friends who are struggling financially, I get to shine lights on my fellow writers like Ellie and you and everybody who's been on the Tara show and everybody I know here in Portland who's still struggling. We have talked about this before. If we had Elon money, what we could do. I don't ever anticipate making money like that. And I don't need to. I just need enough. But what I'm saying is here is opportunity. And in a pre-Trump world, this opportunity would have created not just opportunity for me, but it would have created jobs for thousands of people locally here in Portland and elsewhere. And it's that kind of goodness that I want to pay it forward into the world. Like literally every single time somebody gives me, drops money into my Venmo, I always thank them. When people have contributed larger sums, I have said to them, I will either pay you back or I will pay it forward when I can. Because I mean that with all of my heart. And every single one of them has replied, pay it forward. So there are ways to do that. And the best thing that we do on social media is support each other. And no one understands better than Devlin and I when you can't afford to kick down a few bucks. Doesn't cost you anything to retweet, doesn't cost you anything to share our links, doesn't cost you anything to take a moment and say, this book sounds amazing and I can't wait to read it. And so you share the link to taradublinrocks.com. Or I heard this amazing conversation between Devlin and Ellie the other night on Tara Buster. You really should watch this. Or Senator Ron Wyden dropped in on the Tara show and we learned things about the Epstein files that I didn't know. Yesterday, I was on with Dino Badela and told him stuff that Ron Wyden shared with us that he didn't know. Right? And so we perform a really great public service here that I'm incredibly proud of, Devlin. And we have, with whatever small amount of power we have comes, I think, a huge amount of responsibility. And I care so much about the truth and doing good things for good people and highlighting the goodness in each other. It's, that 5-year-old that prevails inside of me that wants everything to be just and fair, that we talked about with Dr. Jeffrey Grammer a little bit ago. And so that's just my pitch. That's my pitch for goodness, for kindness, for taking a moment out of your day to do something good. Good karma. Doesn't hurt you. Comes back to you probably in the best possible way. And I'm also going to try a little experiment on Twitter because I know you don't spend that much time on Twitter, but they have your For You tab and the following tab. And yes, you
I
are.
don't have the clout.
You have
on Twitter.
Yes, you do. You have clout, you have gravitas, and you are a rock star in your own right, as is every person who participates in the national conversation about furthering our democracy. Anybody who's invested in the truth is a rock star. Anybody who stands up and speaks the truth is a rock star. You remember on Tuesday, we had our great friend Malcolm Nance with us talking about what we can do, what the resistance can do for free, where it costs us nothing but some time. Go out to an overpass with a sign, which I did yesterday. I did that. I did it by myself. It's fine. I want to do it again and maybe get some more people to hang out with me next time. But we can do great things. We got Jimmy Kimmel back on the air after just a couple of days. That energy behind the next No Kings rally on October 18th. That energy behind boosting the goodness in each other, suppressing the hate speech. So what I was saying was my For You feed now on my phone, on both, I guess, on the laptop and the mobile, is all forced propaganda from accounts I don't follow. I don't follow the White House or Rapid Response 47. I don't follow Caroline Levitt. I don't follow Bongino and Mike Johnson or Marco Rubio. And I see all of that in my For You.
That's what happened.
I know.
Yeah, no, I mean, right after that South African sociopath Nazi bought Twitter, my feed was filled with Kyle Rittenhouse and
nuts,
I never
right?
I literally block Kyle Rittenhouse and Donald Trump Jr. and there they were in my feed. So it's unreal.
Yeah, I mean,
it's disgusting.
I'm blocked by all the Trumps, the main 3 adult Trumps anyway, Ivanka Jr. and Eric Mickums. Gary McBusey is my dad, but and Daddy. I have the quadfecta. I see them all in my For You. So I'm going to try an experiment just to see what happens with the algorithms if I just respond to tweets in my following tab. And I just go there and I just engage with our people.
No, it doesn't
and see
matter.
What happens.
It won't matter.
It wouldn't be the same, right? It won't be the same. Well, I won't get the same visibility as this.
They are shoving these monsters down everyone's throats, including
they are.
Not just the monsters, but also the ones that they manufacture, like the Russian bots and the and the other Nazi accounts. That's what Twitter is, a safe space for Nazis and a place for it's just puke. The whole site is puke at this point, and it goes to show you how quickly Republicans and right-wingers in general can destroy something that's perfectly decent. It was a decent town square with standards.
Yes.
And they turned it into a shithole They turned it into a public blight where Nazis can scream the N-word and misgender people. If you did that in your local town square, the cops would come and you would be, at least in the very least, removed and fined for disorderly conduct. That's for sure. But not on social media. And that's why, this is who Republicans are. I challenge anyone to please give me an example where Republicans add decency, add beauty, add anything that is worthy of
light,
human value.
Joy.
Right? Anything.
No. And it's interesting because, I stay there, first of all, because I want to keep an eye on what they're doing. Second of all, I'm stubborn and I won't let Nazis run me out of anywhere. And it's just an interesting sociological experiment for me at this point, because when I got those harassing texts a couple of days after Charlie Kirk, it was literally the day after Charlie Kirk's shooter was identified, right? And everything got even crazier and more fluid. Excuse me. I saw both the best and worst of humanity subsequently, because I shared all of those texts across all of my social media platforms, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Substack, and Twitter. Twitter was the only place where people were like, no, you didn't, fuck you. No. Like, they thought I made it up. They thought it was, they were calling me Jussie Smollett, like just all of that shit. I don't care what they say, obviously. Everywhere else, everyone's normal. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Do you need a safe place to stay? If you ever need anything, please let me know. Like, everyone is normal everywhere else. And I think that's another really important reason for me to stay there, because there will be a point where this is no longer an asset for Elon Musk, and he's going to have to divest. Possibly when he gets investigated by The Hague. We'll wait, but I believe that there will be a point where this isn't a fun toy for him anymore, or it's not serving him in any specific way anymore, or he legally has to divest from it for whatever reason, and maybe Mark Cuban can come in along with Mackenzie Bezos, and they can at least adjust the algorithm, right?
I only go on there to look at what these pukes are saying and also grab video and things like that and see what's trending.
It matters.
But, see, because here's the thing. I don't have the time to engage with these fuckers, and to fight with them, even though I try. And I do encourage, I cannot stop. I don't let the stink lie in the middle of the floor unchallenged. So, but I could spend my whole damn day on there if that happens. And it has happened where it's just like a time sucker, which I have shit to do or other things. But, then to engage with something that is so vile and pukish anyway, that is never going to change at this point. I don't know. So I get it.
And that's, and that is, if we have time out. By the way, if you're just joining us, our friend of the show and my senator, Ron Wyden, will be joining us in about 20 minutes, a triumphant return to the Tara Show ahead of his town hall here in my county tomorrow with an update on Epstein. And I'm curious to see, and I saw right before the show started, Jim said that we were going to see the resolution next week, like of the vote, because they have enough votes now to pass the resolution to release the Epstein files. But we also have a government shutdown looming, and which they're, of course, trying to pin on Schumer, which is like
Democrat shutdown. The Democrat
hashtag
party.
Schumer shutdown is trending right now.
Oh,
and it's like,
right?
Okay, Trumpers, you have this shitty Trump trifecta right now, right? This is on you, bitches. You're the ones who want to shut the government down.
Yeah, this is the party of personal responsibility. They only take responsibility. They only stick to that motto when they're trying to deny someone health care or slap the Meals on Wheels out of Granny's mouth.
Yeah.
Then they stick to their.
Off the screen now.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, ma'am.
Ron Wyden doesn't need to see it. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it's better when I can see you better.
Sure,
Everyone's seen it now. Everyone can go and share it if they want and add to my Here's the other thing. Another reason. If I can rip these Nazis off, 10 million views. I mean, I should probably make a couple of bucks off of that. So I'm okay with that.
It's not.
I'm
don't
okay
get
with
a lot of money. It doesn't matter how many.
No.
Fucking views.
Oh no.
It's
No.
It's not like a dollar review or something. That would be wonderful.
Oh God, wouldn't I mean? Then I could leave Twitter, right? So if I got what like Cat Turd and Benny Johnson and fucking DC Drano and libs of TikTok
Well, all you have
get
to
for
do
chilling?
is become a right-wing vomit machine, you see.
No,
And
thank
then
you. My name's not
you
Lindy Lee. No,
it's
thank
true. That's
you.
what and you'll be on Fox News. You'll
No,
be
thank
they'll pick
you.
you
My
right
name's
up.
not Angela
That's
Belcamino.
the
No, thank
truth.
you.
This is what
No,
they do.
thank you.
Yeah,
Nope.
I mean, this is how
Nope.
the
I
Republican. And
would
we should talk
never.
to Senator Wyden about this too, because I don't know if we ever get there. I do want to talk to these Democrats about the whole Democrat Party thing. It may seem like a little thing,
Oh,
but
you might
it's
have an
not.
opportunity
It's not.
today. I mean,
We'll see how a
I mean,
conversation goes,
we'll see.
because it's not just like a bugaboo to me. As somebody who, I mean, is in
No, they
communications
all
and
do
studies
it, and it's so
communications.
annoying.
He does it all the time. He even said it like every announcement. Oh, the Democrat,
They all do it.
an arm of the Democrat Party. He's talking about.
Yep.
With Jimmy Kimmel and all this. It's the Democrat Party. There's not a thing. It's not. It's a pejorative that goes back to Lee Atwater and not calling the Democratic Party by its name, because Democratic sounds too nice. And they do it on the corporate media now too. The corporate media mouthpieces do it. They use Democrat as a adjective, not a noun. It's not an adjective. The name of the party is Democratic Party, not Democrat Party. So it's not Democrat politician or Democrat bill. It's Democratic politician and Democratic bill. But they do it on corporate media because the maggots have infiltrated through repetition everything that was once decent. That's why the corporate media sucks. And I don't know if you guys realize, well, you do, but I wrote an article. We talked about it on a couple of past shows too, but about on the Political Voices Substack of how Poland was and we talked with Malcolm Nance, and I can't reiterate this enough. The only way, see, fascism, it doesn't go quietly into the night, and it's very rare that you can pull back from a fascist authoritarian takeover. And I've looked at through history, looked at the examples. Was this ever possible? Very rarely. But it happened recently in Poland. They were able to pull back and get rid of their fascist authoritarian party that was doing what traitor Trump is doing to us now. They did it with the help of a free and independent progressive media that wasn't completely owned and could still criticize the regime. That's it. And
that's where we are right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
Up to us.
That's how important it is. And I can't stress it enough, because whatever, if the way I look at it at this point, I'm 57 years old. I've had a life. If they come busting down my door, I am okay. And I just worry about my cats and the guinea pig, That's it.
I worry about my cats too. I worry about that, especially, after being targeted this way.
Yeah.
And it's this false bravado from the right is really all about their own fear, and they're projecting their fear onto the rest of us, and that's not okay. And it's all tied into their anger at Trump, but they can't throw it at him, so they throw it at us. Well, it's transference. They're mad at him for lying to them. He can't stop lying to them about the Epstein files, right?
Yes.
There are enough of them who want to see them released. There are enough of them that it's a problem for him. Obviously, it's not going away. Everything they have been doing. They loved it when
they created this monster. I mean,
they loved being able to
Right.
They loved being able to create this distraction with Charlie Kirk and Jimmy Kimmel, because in the middle of all of that, which was never announced and it needs to be discussed, and we talked about it the other day. I talked about it yesterday with Dino Badela, and he didn't know. A week ago Sunday, Fox News Sunday confirmed the signature on the Epstein birthday letter as Trump's, and the Wall Street Journal has also verified it as well. And I will point out, those are both owned by Rupert Murdoch.
Right. And
so that's where MAGA lives.
Yeah, but you see what he's doing. He's suing Rupert Murdoch. This is out of control. And this is why Rupert Murdoch and all the rest of these goons. I was reading another article. I didn't write it. I can't remember where I was reading it, but they were talking about how behind the scenes the business owners, and happens throughout history, that they are making a bet. They would rather have an authoritarian that is so-called pro-capitalist than Democrats who are supposedly not pro-capitalist, even though the rich get richer under Democrats, and everyone, and not just the rich, but everyone has a decent life, or at least aspiring to that, despite Republican standing in the way with all their bullshit.
Fuck.
So, but and this is the bet. The same bet they're making on Trump is the same bet that corporations made on Hitler at the time, and I wrote an article about that too. So, and it's disgraceful that throughout history we see the right-wingers opening the door to authoritarianism every single time. And that's why we should not be, surprised that what happened to Jimmy Kimmel and what's happening, the silencing of speech, because this is who they are. They don't give a shit about America. And that's what Democrats reclaiming the message that, and we need to talk about this with Senator Wyden if we get to it, but to be unapologetic about what we're fighting for. You didn't hear FDR during the New Deal say, I welcome Republican ideas. No, he said, these are the ideas that crashed the economy to begin with. And when they said, oh, we're going to leave the country if you tax us, FDR said, well, we'll miss you, fuck
bye.
off, right?
Don't let the door hit you in the ass.
Exactly. So I don't know. It's like, how much money do these scumbags need? How much money? And they have to be shamed.
It's a good...
If they're...
anyway. They can't be shamed, but they can be embarrassed. And what they are doing is they are aligning with a pedophile rapist.
Yes.
And they want to shut down the government so
too.
that there's no consequence from releasing the Epstein files. Now, Bald Thanos in the chat just said, the OMB just said shutdown happens October 1st. Oh, if shutdown happens October 1st, there's going to be mass firings. So
where at the White House? You said, right? Or everywhere. Everywhere.
This is an administration that's not invested in America succeeding.
Oh,
so
they love when people get fired. Right. They love it. They fucking love it.
Favorite thing to do. You're fired.
Because
he did a whole TV show.
Yes, that's true. But he's such a bitch and he's such a coward that he doesn't actually fire people. In fact, if you the guy who wrote the Art of the Deal talked about it, like behind the scenes, he's just a little whiny bitch who likes to look at swatches, and he sucks at business. But he doesn't have the balls to fire people. He lets other people do that when people have to get let go, because he's a coward. He's a little fragile bitch coward, as we know.
He's mad at an escalator and a teleprompter,
yes,
and it turns out the escalator was actually his own people's fault.
It's a big conspiracy.
Some kind of security issue where they had them shut it down or something. I don't know what the issue was.
A videographer hit the emergency something button by mistake. And,
but a Democrat
bumped into it.
But it's a Democratic conspiracy to stop him.
But you saw
and then
on
mad
Fox
at a teleprompter.
News, that you saw. I don't know if you saw it. Maybe you didn't. But Fox News on Jesse Waters, that bitch, was going on about how Melania, the most beautiful first lady ever, could have fell and hurt her face. The humanity.
No, not in my face is most important. I don't really care. Do you? Right. Jesse Waters also called for someone to blow up the UN.
Oh, well,
domestic terrorism is a federal crime. So between Jesse Waters, saying that the UN should be blown up, and Brian Kilmeade saying homeless veterans should be euthanized with darts. Just shoot them with shoot them up with overdose of fentanyl.
God. Doesn't it make you sick?
Those two have a job. Nobody on the right was like, oh, that's so mean and cruel. Get them off the internet. Jimmy Kimmel is like, hey, you know what? Maybe you should stop pointing fingers at each other. And it could have been possibly one of yours. And I was like, fire him. Again, the outrage machine is pointed at the wrong direction. And yes, Jesse Waters' mom disowned him. She tried to get through him. I remember him like playing a call. She called him when he was on the air and she was like, I really wish you would just stop doing this. And it's just like your own mother doesn't. Can you imagine like the heartbreak of a lifetime, right? So you think about this, and I'm just speaking in generalizations. I would love to believe for most mothers in this world, the heartbreak of being estranged from a child, just you can't even conceive of it. But to be the parent who breaks from a child, that speaks to such toxicity in the child that you can't cope with it. I cannot imagine, like, just because my sons are both perfect human beings, but I can't imagine a mother rejecting a child in that way. Like even when my kids were little,
even Ted Bundy's mother, didn't reject him.
I mean,
who said when on the day of his execution, she said, "You'll always be my little boy." Yeah.
I mean, what I told them was, I may not always love what you do, but I will always love you. Like there's no such thing as a perfect human being. Doesn't matter who raises you. You just try to raise them with, goodness and kindness and compassion, which they got from me. And they also got from Montessori. Montessori is delightful. If anybody out there is a young parent, I heartily recommend Montessori because it teaches them how to be good human beings. It does. They teach them practical life lessons like how to serve other people food, how to shake hands, how to set a table, how to write a check. It's adorable. I don't know if they do how to write a check anymore, but they did back in 2003. So anyway, it's just like, and it's that innate goodness that I believe is in all Democrats and all people who are interested in furthering our democracy rather than ending it. And those are the ones that we constantly try to appeal to and ask them to have what Michelle Obama called the difficult conversations when we were at the DNC last August. And I think those are the conversations that are really important to have. And I am ready now, especially with the, the 10 million, whatever, that's triggering people. I would even now at a point, because I believe in the truth so much and boosting independent media so much, that I would even go into a conservative space right now and talk to somebody if they would be welcoming and they would be willing to do something where we could talk to each other with a modicum of civility, not a screaming panel. And I don't know if you saw this, but what's his name? Tim Miller from the Bulwark. He did he's at Tim ODC on Twitter. He did a panel thing. It was like Piers Morgan and him and Carrie Lake and a couple of other yelly people. And he's like, in the Bulwark tweeted it, and he's like, the most depressing 35 minutes of Tim's life. And they're all yelling and screaming at each other. And after a while, Tim's like, what are we doing? Why are we even like, this is just ridiculous. This is all wrong. And you're saying all of this propaganda and you're doing, you're calling Democrats they, and you're blaming them for Charlie Kirk when it's not them. And everybody, kitten with,
I know.
What happened? What happened?
Have a thing removed on
the cone of shame.
Yeah.
What? Oh, wait a minute. We have a birthday in the chat. Time out. Terry Taylor is having a birthday.
No, yes, Brandon. Happy birthday to your children, Brandon. No, wait. I'm getting confused here. Brandon Woods, happy birthday, Terry Taylor. Okay.
It's Hal's birthday today?
No, Brandon
Whose
Woods.
birthday is it?
No, it's Terry Taylor. I don't know. Somebody explain it to me.
Whose birthday is it? I can't follow the chat. I need to sing happy birthday to Hal. I need to sing happy birthday to Brandon's
don't get crazy here. You're not Marilyn Monroe, okay?
I am not. And happy birthday is actually one of the hardest songs to sing because it's in like a million different...
And it's also copyrighted. It's, they can't sing happy birthday on like a...
Can we sing it on here?
Sing it. Probably, but don't sing the whole song.
Happy birthday. Can we sing it cheesily?
I've sung happy birthday on my show, Tara Buster, to many
Did you get in trouble?
Chat room.
Did you get in trouble?
But it also occurs at from 8:30 to
so Terry's birthday was yesterday. It's like I said, happy birthday to everybody whose parents did it on Christmas. This is your week. This is your week to remember that your parents.
Is this Hal Sparks' birthday too?
That's what it is. Okay, ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Hal Sparks, and everybody else having a birthday this week.
Happy birthday to you. Terry Taylor.
There it is.
In the chat. And
Terry Taylor, Brandon's kids, everybody who's having a birthday. Every day is somebody's birthday. Happy birthday to you.
It's the birthday of Hal Sparks Richard how do you pronounce that? Like Ojeda.
Ojeda, Mark Hamill, Harry Dunn, the late Christopher Reeve. Also, strangely enough, this is one of those weird pop culture trivia things that sticks in my head. I don't know where I might not know where my keys are, but I know that both Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones were born on this day, decades apart. But when they first met, one of the things that bonded them was that they were born on the same day. And now they're married and have children, and they're still married and lovely. They're a great example of Hollywood longevity. Hooray. If you're just joining us, 99 people in the chat, Jim leading them gallantly. Thank you so much. And on Substack. Hi, Substackers. In about five-ish minutes, we're expecting my wonderful Senator Ron Wyden to pop in to join us. Aside from everything else Ron Wyden is doing when it comes to the Epstein files with the Senate Finance Committee here in Oregon, he got a firefighter released from ICE custody. A firefighter was wrongfully detained by ICE, and thankfully, my Senator Ron Wyden was able to... Oh, I forgot. I didn't know I was hitting it that
Well, people don't like
my
it.
Senator Ron Wyden, I know that they don't. I'm sorry. I'm just being emphatic as I care. Anyway, firefighter, Mr. Sanchez, the firefighter, is free.
You could flare your arms like I do. That's what I do.
I'll hit my thigh instead. You can't. That won't shake the table. Anyway, Ron Wyden will be joining us momentarily. If you happen to be local to Portland/Oregon, and you can drive to Multnomah County, Ron Wyden will be holding a town hall tomorrow in Gresham that is open to the public based on capacity. They are expecting a completely packed turnout.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's had a town hall. There's also going to be another he's going to be having a press conference with my other Senator, Jeff Merkley, my representative, Suzanne Bonamici, and another representative, Maxine Dexter, tomorrow. And I just saw that come in like right when we went on the air, so I'm not sure what that is about, but I can ask him about it when he joins us momentarily. Maybe I can probably get in on that one. I will tell you, right before Ron Wyden joins us, the most wonderful people work for him. And this is another reason why you vote for Democrats, because Democrats actually care. And here's an example of Democrats caring. We've talked about the threatening texts that I got, and that I had to talk to the Portland police, and I had to call my local FBI field office and spoke to a field agent there. And then I spoke to one in the national office, which Devlin can verify. Because after the show on Thursday, she stayed on with me while I called back a number I didn't know. And we verified that it was actually the FBI calling from a national office. And from that point, I spoke with an agent in the national office, and that was great. Soon after that, I spoke with a woman in Ron Wyden's office who's a state director who has worked for him for 3 decades. Nobody works for anybody for 3 decades if they're a bad boss, right? So she's worked for Ron Wyden for 3 decades. She spoke to the FBI on my behalf before she called me to talk to me. Tell me about a Republican who would ever go the extra mile like that for someone they don't know, never met. She doesn't even talk to the media, she told me. But she saw me as an ally in that moment and fought for me. And I just was like, I almost started to cry when I was talking to her, because I was just like so touched by the fact that people care. And that is another thing that gets lost in this national conversation that's dominated by these loud, awful Republicans, in that they have removed compassion from the discussion of politics. They try.
Yeah, but it's so inhumane.
They have removed it.
You can't remove it. Human beings, and this is why the Democrats need to get this shit together and start advocating for ourselves, because we're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity.
Always.
Human beings are interdependent. This is why I can't stand these motherfuckers like Elon Musk and the rest of them. You don't want to give a shit about anybody else but yourself. F off to a desert island and leave us all alone. But they don't want to do that because they want all the benefits of civilization. They want to use us as hosts from which to suck profit and discard. That's it.
They have enough money to go build one.
Yeah, but
they
just want to be able to steal from us without us having a reaction to it or having the power to do anything about it. They want their boot on our necks, and that's why they're like, oh, deregulation. Everything Republicans stand for is un-American, anti-American, and they're not on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity, because we should give a shit about each other. Even the founders, in all their flaws, understood this when they made E Pluribus Unum our national motto, which is so woke.
Correct.
I can't even stand it, you know? I mean,
oh my God.
out of many, one? Yeah, out of many, one, bitch. You don't like
That's
it?
right.
You can't you don't want to consider other people in your profit margin, then tough shit. F off to
it's
a
crazy.
desert island.
And
but
may I remind you, may I remind us all, the first words of the preamble to the Constitution are not "I, the president."
Yeah.
The first three words are "we, the people." We, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, secure domestic tranquility. Anybody who watched Schoolhouse Rock, every Gen X kid can sing the preamble to the Constitution. I won't do that because I just sang happy birthday. But you can do it. We need to be out. I did that on my Instagram. I was like, hey, Gen X, let's try this. So if you go to Tara Devlin Rocks 1 on Instagram, I did a quick little video where I sang the preamble to the Constitution. Everybody should share it because it matters, right? Because that's provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity.
Yeah.
Isn't, like the founders built this country in the hopes, like Benjamin Franklin said, a republic, if you can make, what is it? A republic, if you can keep it. If you can keep it. And we did until these fuckers came in.
Exactly.
Owned by Putin.
Right. And they wrapped themselves in the flag, which they're not patriots. And that's what Democrats need to start messaging this too. Reclaiming patriotism, reclaiming the, like John Fugelsang's book, reclaiming the Christianity that they have so bastardized and so twisted and distorted into being just another way to kick down on marginalized people. And their whole owning the libs, triggering the libs. I hear this on the mainstream media too. They talk about it. They're like, they just want to own the libs and all that shit, without adding the context that the Democrats need to point out. If your policies are if you're motivated by drinking the tears of your fellow Americans, then you are not a patriot. You are an enemy of the people, if anything. I mean, correct. I don't know how to put it less, but, drinking the tears of your fellow Americans, we don't want to do that.
So
We're not trying to do that. I'm not trying to drink conservative tears. This is not a joke. This is not a game.
They probably taste like Mountain Dew and Skull.
They taste like Trump's sweat, probably, his balls.
Gross.
But I know, it's disgusting. No, but I mean, like,
hoping Ron Wyden will be calling in momentarily.
I hope so too, because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
But we
are running out of time. I'm checking my email. I got nothing. So we should be
liberal
hearing
tears.
From them.
I mean, we're trying. I don't want them to. I don't want to drink their tears. I don't want them to cry. I want them to have health care, to have a decent middle class life, to have people that give a shit about them in power. And then I see again another article on CNN was about how the same farmers who voted for Trump over 70% in Arkansas are again, they're crying and whining for Democrats to save them. All right, here comes Ron Wyden.
Oh, yay! Yay.
Hello,
there he
Senator. Hold on a second.
Oh, friends, thank you for having we maybe take a couple of extra minutes past the music because it's the triumphant return, champion of freedom and justice.
Geez, hold on a second. Here we go.
Oregon's own Senator Ron Wyden. Look at you.
Welcome
back.
Hey, good to be with you guys.
Thank you so much for
How are you?
returning to our show.
What a time. It is really unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You're not kidding.
Well, what are we talking about? We were just talking about how Republicans want to drink our tears, but we don't want to drink their tears. We want them to have health care and decent middle-class life. That's what we're fighting for. Not to own them or to shame them or to, well, not shame. We're not trying to hurt them. We're trying to make sure that we can all share in the prosperity that our labor makes possible in the first place. What are you doing?
That's way too common sense.
Right. It is.
All right. Well, what we want to do is make the most of the time that we have with you. And I'm also really looking forward to your town hall here in Portland tomorrow. I will be there. And your staff is just the best. I want you to know that. I'm very grateful for that. And maybe we can have a moment tomorrow to talk about that. We are facing, I know, you have great people working for you because Democrats always do. We are facing a government shutdown amid trying to force that release of the Epstein files vote. Can you give our audience an update of where we are on both of those things at this moment?
Well, nothing new on the question of the shutdown in the last 15 minutes, but it really keeps changing. And we're trying to make the point that in a few weeks, if nothing is done, Oregonians and people all across this country are going to get hit with an economic wrecking ball in the form of these higher premiums, and they are going to double basically what people are paying. And I'm just saying, look, this was the Trump idea. This is what they got their allies in Congress to push for. We're trying to come up with something that works for everybody.
What do you think of what's the prognosis for that, though? It's really concerning. They're going to kick millions of Americans off of their health insurance when we were trying to incrementally ensure that we all can go to a doctor when sick. That's a basic citizen right that others enjoy all over the world.
Yeah, they're just in denial. You look at that letter that Trump sent to the leadership talking about all these horrors that are 98% imaginary and the like. They are just in denial about the basic proposition. They're happy to use all this lingo about healthcare, word salad, and all the rest. And I keep saying, look, I've been doing this since my days at the Gray Panthers, and people are going to understand there's just really one idea here, and that's premiums. And premiums are going through the stratosphere because of what you've done.
Yes.
And we want to figure out a way to get some help from people and get for people, and that's the bottom line.
Wow. It's just a shame that people have to lose what they have. It just seems this way to wake up, in these red states.
Well, Tara, you're even understating it. Not only are they losing what is so important to them in terms of affordable, good quality health care, they're watching the billionaires make out incredibly well.
Right. It's just...
What could be more unfair?
Right. It's disgusting. And I don't know. It seems like a lot of the American people look at the billionaires as if we even had a middle class in this country because they felt like trickling it on us, which is not true. It came from government policy. It came from New Deal government policy that promoted the working class from the bottom up. And it's in spite of the billionaires of FDR's time, who he called the economic royalists, and that it was his duty to the Constitution to tamp down on their power. And we're here again. But I feel like, I don't know, there's so much more
people are catching on. People are catching on. Yesterday, I had a really big town hall meeting in Lane County, and I said I just introduced the billionaire's income tax, and everybody started clapping and the like. And I said, let me just tell you, because it's even worse than you think. If you just use 3 words, buy, borrow, and die, as a billionaire, you can.
Oh no, we lost those 3 words.
Wait, say again. Buy, borrow, and die?
If a billionaire goes out and buys a huge array of apartment buildings, for example, and does nothing with them and just lets them appraise in value, and then goes to their friendly banker and says, give me a really big loan because I'm a great risk for you. I have all these buildings, and give me a cheap break. And then they get it, and they go out and spend it on their lifestyle, and they can continue it until eventually they pass, and then their kid gets a capital gains break.
Right.
3 words: buy, borrow, and die. All a billionaire has to do.
Right.
Buy, borrow, and die. That's.
Wait, your mic is really hot. Well, Sarah, your mic is very hot. That's all. And Senator,
mine is?
Yeah, yours is a little low. I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm trying to balance it, but it's
better.
It's a little better. Yeah.
It's just my energy. My energy. All right, Senator, I want to talk to you about the Epstein files and what Senate Finance is doing and how you're dealing with Treasury. But we got an important, I think, boost in the Epstein files story that no one is talking about, which is that both Fox News and Wall Street Journal verified the signature on the Epstein birthday letter. That is not a big enough story, and I think could really, and it just points to like why it's important for independent media to be talking about it, because the mainstream media isn't. But how can we better let the American people know stuff like that while you're doing the important work you're doing? Because yesterday I was on Dean Obadiah's Sirius XM show. He did not know Treasury has their own set of Epstein files, and those are the things that the American people need to know about.
You're absolutely right. And today, a story came out in the New York Times that outlined the fact that we're pushing J.P. Morgan chief Jamie Dimon, for answers on what the bank was doing all these years. And it is really stunning when you look at it. The bank basically was letting Epstein do a lot of stuff in cash, which has always been a prescription for trouble. Right. And they clearly had people there who just were not responsible and could have rooted out this problem. So I will tell you, overall, I think we are really starting to move in the right direction. And one big signal is in the House, there's a guy who's very conservative, and I don't think particularly with us on this issue. But now he is talking constantly about following the money.
Oh, nice. Finally.
Yeah, he's negotiating with the Secretary of Treasury. Well, let's see what, comes of it. But the point is, the language has changed, and we are seeing that people believe that there is a path to some fairness and some justice for all those victims. And the path is called look at the money trail, and we're getting there. I feel like we're making real progress.
Right. But I mean, just think about...
And what would the consequences be?
Well,
I think that's what everybody wants to jump to, because he hasn't suffered any in a decade, and it'd be nice.
I'll give you one of them that was pointed out by a couple of independent journalists. There is a compensation fund right now for victims, but it doesn't look like the victims are getting much of the money. And so,
weird.
How unfair it is. I think we'll get some more money to the victims, and I'll get that information to you about the Victims' Compensation Fund.
So yeah, because the thing is,
that's fantastic.
Is it so? Okay, let me correct me if I'm wrong. There are red flag laws. So J.P. Morgan did not adhere to these laws and rules when they processed over $1 billion for Epstein when he was their client. And like you're saying, with frequent large cash withdrawals. And that seems...
Repeated withdrawals.
And doesn't that say that these banks don't have any respect for the government of the United States? That they are the government. They think that different rules and, catch me if you can. This is what I believe that, is part of our problem right now, that we have not regulated them unapologetically. And there's been no consequences for any bankster who's violated any law, like even during when Obama was president. I hate to say, no banksters went to jail for the financial crisis. They did in other countries. But I don't know. I'm a Democrat through and through, but I think that we have to really unapologetically take back our country on so many levels. What's the prognosis? Do you think you're a senator of the United States and they seem to ignore you? I mean, is there hope?
I think they have felt they were above the law, but yesterday, when I was at that town hall meeting in Lane County and people asked me what the problem was, I said, the game is rigged.
Right.
And people all said, that's what this is all about. The banks looked the other way. The IRS looked the other way. There were agencies sleepwalking. I mean, to this day, we have some of Epstein's henchmen out walking around, and basically
I know. And that in itself.
So what I told folks at a town hall meeting is we're staying at this until we get to the bottom of it. We're going to have some things changed so that the banks get held accountable and people have to do audits and the like. And I think we've got a shot now at some real momentum. They had an election in Arizona, I believe it was. And that went in favor of somebody who wants to hold Epstein accountable. So we're getting there. And we're making a lot of progress because people are seeing what you're talking about. These independent journalists are making a real difference.
And that's what we're trying to do, and we're
trying as hard as we can. It's hard to get the truth to float to the top when they're not interested in it. What do your Republican colleagues say about Trump and the Epstein files when they're not on camera? Can you share anything? Like, you don't have to name names, but that they're remaining loyal even after all of this stuff connecting him to Epstein, verified by Fox and the Wall Street Journal, and they're still pushing violent rhetorics as a way to distract, and they're not owning up to what, like, we're able to hold our own accountable. We did with John Edwards, we did with Michael Avenatti, we did with Bob Menendez. That Republicans aren't capable of holding him accountable for something that's so egregiously terrible, that has been verified by sources that are usually, friendly to him, I think should be a giant red flag to Republicans who are in Congress.
I think, A, you're right, and B, based on what I see with the House Republicans, who now know that there is an election coming up, that there is a real prospect that their voters who are certainly now liberals by anybody's calculation, are really angry about this. I think the House Republicans are moving towards holding the administration and everybody involved here accountable. The Senate Republicans are kind of watching more cautiously because they're intuitively more cautious. They're getting more concerned. But watch these House Republicans, because when somebody like James Comer, who's the Republican chair of the committee, is involved in saying this is part of following the money, people pay attention. And as people will see in reading the article, is that when we had that big meeting during the Biden administration, I tried to subpoena the administration, and the Republicans in the Senate wouldn't go with me, wouldn't join me. And I said, you're going to regret it, and I think they will.
It's a shame. I have to ask, too, and what...
have you had any more... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to ask that...
We both want to ask you the question at the same time.
Well, I just want to ask that if keeping with what Dublin was just saying, what do your Republicans say behind closed doors about Trump? Do they understand how dangerous he is and how dangerous to America? Like what just happened with suppressing freedom of speech? How could they go along with this? They must know who he is.
Let's put it this way. I thought there was zero chance of how somebody like Ted Cruz was going to make outspoken statement about free speech that the three of us agree on, and look at what he had to say. So the ice is beginning to break here on Epstein and a bunch of the policies we're talking about. And I think Tara Dublin, you asked a great question with respect, how's the timing going to work? Watch the House Republicans, because they are all moving our direction in terms of Epstein. They're concerned about health insurance bills coming in. People are going to see, and they know they're going to be on the ballot, practically in 15 minutes, which is an exaggeration. They know the election's coming.
Because they want carve-outs for their states. That's the other thing. The hypocrisy is stunning, but not unexpected, because they want to, this big ugly bill, they want to have a carve-out to protect themselves from its consequences for all their states.
The math is so bad. For example, they cut almost $1 trillion out of Medicaid, and then they set up some itty-bitty slush fund that apparently is going to help, according to them, their hospitals, and there's not enough money there.
No.
Republicans know that the whole thing is a fake, and it really doesn't exist, and they ought to move back away from giving all this money to the billionaires and get it into healthcare.
It's incredible how they do this to their own constituents. And this is why the Democrats, I believe, should be a national party, of course, because we are the ones on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. And
how about people's wallet? I mean, the story came out a couple of days ago that a third of the people in Oregon do not have $400 in Oregon. to cover an emergency. So
That's
this is
disgraceful. Exactly.
healthcare, this is food, this is housing.
Hi, I'm one of them. I'm one of them, Senator. I'm one of
Yeah,
those Oregonians. It's such a hard time, and for those of us who are, super invested in the truth, I carry with me a lot of the information that you gave us the last time you were on our show because I live where the truth does, and it makes me feel, a little bit more optimistic about our future. Have you gotten any better response from the Treasury Department? Is Scott Bessent any more willing to work with you, or is he still being obstructive? Because that's another
well,
thing that people don't know. They don't know that that Treasury has their own files. It's crazy people don't know that.
Epstein information is at Treasury that is very, very relevant to this whole thing. Now, the Republican chair, this fella Comer that we're talking to, who talks always about following the money, he sounds like me on this issue. He's wrestling with Bessent, and it's starting to come out that a Republican head of Treasury, Mr. Bessent, is waltzing around a Republican chairman who wants this information. And it has been like a God-given gift to our side because we've been making that claim for a long time and we'll really use the information. And Mr. Comer has been quoted a number of times here recently, and it's clear he's getting frustrated with Bessent. And I say, well, ought to stick to it. We'll work with whatever comes out.
Right. It's horrible.
I love that. Let them eat each other, right? Right? Because we can only benefit. Do you, and we're almost out of time, but one thing do you see a path to impeachment? If House Republicans are stepping up like this, do you see a path to a third impeachment and perhaps even finally an actual verdict in the Senate that would get rid of Trump and the rest of the illegitimate regime?
It's
I like
hard.
To call them.
Yeah, right. What I see is that the economy is hurting so many people in terms of tariffs, in terms of not being able to afford, $400. Jerome Powell, I didn't know what to make of Jerome Powell initially, and he was a Trump guy and the rest. But this is the guy who's been out there talking about the effect on people who don't have power and clout and has been lowering, interest rates. So the way I see it, I think that if we keep doing what we're doing, I feel like we're going to start seeing real progress next year and into the elections. And then it's a brand new ball game. Because if people see that the economy is driving things, I mean, Trump lied about what a tariff was for years on end. Yeah. And we finally won the fight. We've convinced working class people they're the victims. They're the ones getting the tax increases. And I think that's what's starting to sink in. And that means a better next year.
I hope.
I hope so. I heard a great quote.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, it's fine. We're both jumping in. It's fine.
I know. I heard a great quote about the MAGA cult, Senator, and I think it's really great because they're not invested. They don't care about politics. They care about this cult of personality and belonging, and that they will remain loyal to Trump and they will continue to believe his lies until those lies don't provide comfort, but actually cause them some sort of stress or impact on their lives. When the comfort of the lie no longer serves them, that is the only time they'll turn. How do you feel about that?
I think it sums it up. But personally, what I like is when Donald Trump told women to tough it out. And that was his response in terms of major healthcare policy. I said, that's the thing I want people to really understand. I'm fighting. And I want your listeners, to know, I think Bobby Kennedy has got to go. He's got to be replaced.
Oh, absolutely. Hell yeah, my senator. But, that's right. That is right.
Will the Democrats unify around universal health care? Is that on the plate here, or on the table?
The answer is yes, and I'm the point person for the Senate Finance Committee. I think universal coverage is a basic human right. We're going to lower these health insurance premiums, get rid of Robert Kennedy, and start us back on the track of people matter more than special interests.
I think that people are waking up to that. It's a long time since the Obamacare, debacle, town halls.
Their kid having access to a vaccine.
Right. It's just the whole thing is on the table now, and that the fact that the Republicans are really all they have done in the past 7 months is make everything worse. make it worse.
The damage is going to be everywhere. We're going to lose small pharmacies all over Oregon.
Wow.
It's one of the reasons that we see Oregon and Washington and the regional folks trying to set up their own arrangement for vaccines.
That's what I'm hoping to. In the meantime, there's been talk about the blue state soft secession, where we could form blue state universal health care or pharmacies and things like that. Is that something that people...
Let's stop a recession in our part of the world. Those regional alliances, I think, are attractive ideas.
Yeah, I think so too. Because
I'm very excited. Yeah. I'm excited about that. I mean, I'm going to benefit from being in the West Coast Health Alliance, and I'm grateful for that. And I was able to schedule I scheduled my COVID and flu shots for October 1st, which is when the government's supposed to shut down. So hopefully it won't. How can this will be our last question? How can we best support Democrats right now? And what can Democrats do to make sure the government stays open? Because we need the government to stay open and continue to function.
You can't give up all your tools, though.
I believe we've got to make the case of how deep the hurt is going to be. When people can't have enough money to deal with one modest emergency, and the billionaires are making out every day in the stock market, something is way out of whack. We need an economy that gives everybody in America the chance to get ahead. And when people are hurting, like with these bills coming in now, I want them to be in touch with us at wyden.senate.gov, and I'm going to use them on the floor of the Senate.
Thank you. And can I ask one more question? Because it's coming from the chat. It's coming from the chat. It's not me. Do Democrats have a plan to reform the system overall when we get back in power? Our vulnerabilities have been clearly exposed. So that's from Elizabeth in the chat. What do you think?
You bet. For example, I'm going to get these clean energy policies, going again, because right now what Trump is doing, giving all the breaks to the oil companies, is raising our prices. You know what the biggest word is at one of my town hall meetings? The biggest issue, is the second word is bill. It might be medical bill. It might be gas. It might be housing bill. It might be education bill. That's what we're going to be focused on. And we have a plan at the Finance Committee with the Democrats ready to go.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah. I am so proud to call you my senator. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, your town hall. But then there's also that press conference with Merkley and my rep, Suzanne Bonamici, and Representative Dexter. I'm going to see if I swing by that one too. And this is a continuing conversation that I feel very, very lucky to be able to have with you. So thank you so much for your generosity, your time with us, but also your devotion to the people of Oregon and the country.
That's right.
Thank you so much for your time. Everybody, thank you, Jim, for being the best moderator.
Everybody
you, follow
Senator.
us, sign up for our Substacks, keep your eye on the Democrats, and never count us out. Remember, keep hope alive. Tara Buster tomorrow night, TaraDublinRocks.com. And I will see you tomorrow, my senator.
You too.
Thank you so much, everybody.
All right, Senator.
Stay safe. You are. Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.